Audiobook Academy Biography. Abe Shinzo. Prime Minister of Japan. Abe Shinzo, a politician from Japan who served as Prime Minister twice, 2006-07 and 2012-20, was born on September 21, 1954, in Tokyo and passed away on July 8, 2022, in Nara. First tenure as Prime Minister in early life. Abe came from a well-known political family. From 1957 to 1960, his grandpa Kishi Nobisuke presided as Prime Minister of Japan, and from 1964 to 1972, his great-uncle Sato Eisaku did likewise. Abe relocated to the United States after earning his degree from CK University in Tokyo, 1977, and attended the University of Southern California, Los Angeles, to study political science. He went back to Japan in 1979 and started working for Steel Limited. Later, he got involved in the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, and in 1982 he started working as his father Abe Shintaro's secretary while the latter was Japan's foreign minister. Abe was elected to the lower chamber of the Diet, the Japanese parliament, in 1993 and afterwards served a number of cabinet positions. His firm position toward North Korea was well received, especially after that nation admitted in 2002 that it had abducted 13 Japanese people in the 1970s and 1980s. Abe oversaw the subsequent negotiations while serving as the Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary at the time. He was appointed LDP Secretary General in 2003. Prime Minister and LDP leader Koizumi Junichiro had to leave office in 2006 due to LDP term restrictions. Abe took over in both positions. Abe became the nation's youngest prime minister since the war and the first to be born after World War II. Abe was a conservative who advocated for closer connections to the United States and a more muscular foreign policy. He was successful in both of these endeavors. Following the nuclear test conducted by North Korea, Abe supported the imposition of sanctions against that country by the United Nations and also issued a set of unilateral penalties against North Korea, one of which was a prohibition on all visits to Japanese ports by North Korean boats. Additionally, he committed to revising the post-war constitution of the nation, which imposed stringent constraints on the country's armed forces. Regarding the internal affairs of the country, Abe pledged to strengthen the nation's pension and health insurance systems. Despite this, his administration was soon mired in a string of embarrassing public gaffes and embarrassing financial scandals. In addition, the administration came under fire for its tardy response to the revelation that the government had mismanaged the pension data of millions of residents for a period of 10 years. This revelation led to condemnation of the administration. The Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, had lost its majority in the upper house to a coalition led by the Democratic Party of Japan, DPJ, in July 2007, and Abe had declared his intention to step down as prime minister in September of that same year. His position was taken over by Fukuda Yasuo. Abenomics and the second term in office. Abe kept his seat in the lower chamber of the Diet, although he avoided public life for a number of years, especially when a coalition led by the DPJ assumed control of the government in 2009. This, however, changed in September 2012 when he was once again elected to the position of leader of the LDP. One of his first acts was to pay a visit to the Yasukuni Shrine in Tokyo, which is a memorial to Japan's military dead that includes individuals who were convicted of war crimes during World War II. This action prompted loud protests from other countries in the Asia-Pacific region, and he provoked further controversy over his views on the sovereignty of islands in the Pacific that were disputed between China and Japan, as well as for his position favoring revision of the Pacifism Clause. In spite of this, the LDP was victorious in the elections for the lower house that were held on December 16, 2012. On December 26, the newly elected LDP majority in the parliament, which was strengthened by members of the party's coalition partner, Nuke, accepted Abe's nomination as prime minister by an overwhelming majority. He took over for Noda Yoshihiko of the DPJ, who had resigned from his position earlier that day. Abe wasted no time in kicking off an ambitious economic program with the dual goals of reviving the long-stagnant Japanese economy and assisting in the speedy rehabilitation of the northeastern Honshu, Tohoku, area, which was ravaged by the earthquake and tsunami that occurred in 2011. The program, which was quickly dubbed Abenomics, included measures such as raising the inflation rate, allowing the value of the yen to fall against the value of the US dollar and other foreign currencies, and increasing the money supply and government spending on major public works projects. The program was quickly dubbed Abenomics. Candidates from the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, and its Nukmiyat allies gained enough seats in the elections to the upper house of the Diet in July 2013, giving the LDP and its Nukmiyat allies a majority in that chamber. This provided a significant political boost to the ABE government. Strong growth in 2013 and the first half of 2014, as well as a decline in the unemployment rate, indicated that Prime Minister Abiy's economic policy was first showing signs of success. Nevertheless, the implementation of the second step of a three-step hike in the national consumption, sales, tax in April 2014, which was adopted in 2012 by a government led by the DPJ, contributed to a significant decline in Japan's economy during the remainder of that year. By the fall, the economy of the country had already entered a recession, and Abe's approval rating was continuing to decrease. He made the decision to get rid of the lower house and to hold early elections for the parliament, which took place on December 14, 2014. Abe and the LDP won by a significant majority, which ensured that he would continue to serve as Prime Minister of Japan. Voters, on the other hand, showed up at the polls in record low numbers and indicated little enthusiasm about the process. Following the LDP's decisive electoral victory, the Abe government made it a priority to work for the amendment of the Japanese constitution. A reinterpretation of the so-called Peace Clause of the Constitution was adopted by the cabinet in 2014. This prepared the way for the cabinet to endorse laws in May 2015 that would make it simpler for Japan to employ military force in the event that the country was attacked or threatened. Following that, the lower house of Congress approved the laws in July, and the upper house of Congress did so in September. Despite this, there was significant popular opposition to the measures, with even the former Prime Minister Murayama Tomiichi joining the protests. The government of Prime Minister Abe has also been criticized for its plans to build a new stadium in Tokyo in time for the Olympic Games in 2020. The design of the venue, which had been selected initially and was created by the architect Dame Zaha Hadid, was rejected in 2015 because of concerns regarding the rising expenses of construction. Despite this, Abe maintained a strong position inside the LDP, and in September 2015, he was re-elected to another term as president of the party without any opposition. Although Abe's personal approval rating had constantly been below 50% since December 2014, the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, achieved a landslide victory in the elections for the upper chamber of the Diet in July 2016, notwithstanding this fact. The outcome provided the Liberal Democratic Party and the new Komeito with supermajorities in both the upper and lower houses, which paved the path for constitutional reforms that Abe had long sought for. The opposition Democratic Party of Japan, DPJ, was having difficulty presenting plausible alternatives to Abenomics, which was a boon for the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, which benefited from the DPJ's virtually complete collapse. In the beginning of 2017, a series of scandals brought Abe's popularity to historic lows. However, it began to bounce in the late summer, which drove him to call for emergency elections for the lower house in an effort to increase the strong majority he already possessed there. In September 2017, the DPJ, which had rebranded itself as the Democratic Party following its merger with the Japan Innovation Party in 2016, was effectively voted out of existence. This merger had occurred in 2016. Legislators from the Democratic Party of Japan, DPJ, who intended to run for office in the general election that took place in October 2017 were instructed to renounce their membership in the DPJ and instead submit an application for membership in the Party of Hope, a new reform party that was founded by Tokyo governor and former LDP member Koike Yuriko. Polling conducted prior to the election showed that the Party of Hope would finish a long way behind the governing LDP alliance. Koike further fractured the opposition when she imposed a litmus test that ruled out liberal candidates. In the end, Koike decided not to seek for a seat in the lower house, and the liberal opposition broke away from the Party of Hope to form the Constitutional Democratic Party. Although Abe remained personally unpopular, the opposition was in disarray, and the results of the election in 2017 saw the LDP return with strong majorities in both the upper and lower houses of the Diet. Abe's political instincts were proven to be correct. Many people anticipated that Abe would move on with his long-promised change to the constitution, but widespread public disapproval led to the initiative being postponed indefinitely. When Abe's duration in office surpassed that of Sheikh Katsurataru in November 2019, he took the title of Japan's longest-serving prime minister. Katsurataru had held the position for 3 separate terms beginning in the early 20th century. In August of the year 2020, Abe made the announcement that he would resign as prime minister due to a recurrence of ulcerative colitis. However, he continued to serve in office in a caretaker capacity until a replacement was chosen. Suga Yoshihide, who had served as Abe's chief cabinet secretary, was selected as the new head of the LDP on September 14, 2020, and he assumed the role of prime minister 2 days later. The flags of Romania and Chad are strikingly similar to one another, despite the fact that their respective nations' histories couldn't be more different. Abe was killed on July 8, 2022, while he was out in the field advocating for a colleague. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button for more content like this. See you in next video.